Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. I am making a video here on the Abyssal sites in the Capsuleer Day 2024 event. This is an event I really like. It's my favorite event in many years, and I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that I've given away all my stuff, so now I'm only using stuff in EVE Online that I've earned myself. So I really appreciate this more than I otherwise would have in previous event years, but also I just think this event is really fun because it's adding lots of new stuff that we've never seen before. In this video I wanted to go over the Abyssal sites because this event adds different types of sites. There's these kind of Triglavian high-sec sites, which I know very little about. I've not run any, so I can't tell you guys about them. However, I have run quite a few of these Abyssal sites. And what do I mean by these Abyssal sites? Well, they have released new types of filaments that seem to be only available during this event here. And it seems to be quite inconsistent which types of tiers there are, which types of weather effects there are. But in short, you can think of it like this. We've got new types of filaments of the existing ones. So if we go into the lowest tier, which is we've got exotic has the lowest tier. So if we go into the exotic filaments, it happens to have this new one here called the Sinister Exotic Filament. It's a T1 filament and it looks purple. You can see here it's a new one. This is then a combat site where you go into here with a Tech 1 cruiser. You've got some limitations here, and you'll face a boss and you'll fight them, and then you get some loot at the end, and it's pretty decent loot. I think that this event gives a pretty good amount of loot for what you use to run them. So for new players, people who want to earn some quick cash and have not got a big capital investment, this is a really good event because Tech 1 Cruise is not too expensive and you earn a pretty decent amount of cash. You'll be earning back your ship in a very quick amount of time. I've already earned back this Magnate probably 100 times over by now. So this is a little bit in the future from currently where I am in EVE Online, so might be a little bit spoilers here, but I'm going to try to hide as much as possible because I wanted to show you guys this event here. But I've earned so much cash from this. So we have got then the combat sites is one category of these Abyssal sites. Then the other category are the scanning sites, which I'm in right now, as you may see. You know, what the heck, why are you in the Abyss with the scanning ship? Well, yeah, we've got hacking, sorry, not scanning, but hacking sites as the other type of Abyss filament added. You've got the combat ones and the hacking ones, and I'm in a hacking one now. In my opinion, I think the hacking ones are probably the best reward to investment ratio. Like the very little cost on a scanning ship versus the reward you get is very high. Very little investment is required. So if you're new players, I think they really should look into this. Very good return of investment here. But I wanted to then just show you guys different types of filaments. So we've got just one exotic one here. I've not got any other types of ones. When it comes to the electrical sides, they've added quite a few ones. So my favorite, there's two sites that are my favorite ones to run here because they're both chill but also require a little bit of like skill investment as well at the same time. So the vicious ones, this is a T2. You can see there's two lines here. This is a T2. It's also the same concept here. You use a T1 cruiser, you go in there, you fight some enemies. It's just one room. Like all these combat sites, they're just one room. You use T1 cruise and you fight them and you get loot. This gives pretty good loot compared to the exotic one, which is a T1 before. So I like this. It gives pretty good loot. We're going to run one in a bit as well. I'll show you guys. But then the electricals are special. For some reason, we've got more than just one filament added to the electrical category. We've got this ruined electrical filament, which is also one of these kinds of hacking sites, which we're doing now. It's a T1 one, which means that you can see one line here. So it's going to give a little bit less loot. But it's the same principle. All these hacking sites, you just spawn into filament and you got all these cans and you're supposed to hack them within 30 minutes. You don't have to hack all of them. You can go out when you feel like it or if you're running out of time, but you've got all this loot here to get. So we've got the vicious one, you've got the ruined one. But then we've got devastator one. This is another one that is used for the hacking, and it's a T2. So you get a little bit better loot than the ruined ones. You get the T2 here, and you can also get some nice loot, some nice cash here. It's the same principle. You just warp in, you get all the cans here, hack them, get the loot. But then not enough with the electricals. People really like the CCP really likes the electrical ones a lot. Annihilated. This annihilated electrical filament. This is my favorite hacking filament, and probably my favorite filament to run in this whole event altogether, because it's the T3 variant of this covert ops or hacking Abyssal Filament. It's the one I'm in right now, in fact. It gives so good loot. The downside is that the filament is very expensive and hard to come by, but I do occasionally find them. One filament costs about 50 million ISK. But you get back, I would say on average 60-70 million ISK. You can get up over 100 million ISK. So you're not going to be getting massive profits, but for what you're using to run this, I'm using a Magnate. Like, it's not even a T2 ship here. I'm able to run this and it seems to be working out really good. So that's why I love this, because it gives a really good return of investment here, even though they're expensive filaments. And in these, when you're doing these annihilated electrical filaments like we're doing right now, then I often find these, and the filament itself, you know, is worth like 40-50 million ISK. So it's really great. And then we've got not only electrical filaments added, but we've also got some gammas added. So we can go here in the trade goods. Not as many though. Not as many. We've got disastrous gamma, which is then a type of, you know, same thing. It's the one room you fight with the T1 cruisers, and then you've got the gamma effects. The same thing, you know, you got like the electrical effects in the electric one. Gamma ones are boost shields. This is what I'm trying to say, is all these are different types of filaments, different types of tiers, but they're the same principle. You've got either the T1 combat cruisers, combat ones, or you've got the hacking ones with requiring just a scanning ship. Yeah, and then we don't have really many more gammas. Firestorms have these calamitous firestorm filaments, which is T4 here. So this is going to be a pretty difficult one. It's a combat one. Dark filaments. I do not believe we have any dark filaments that are made for here. This event here. Yeah, I don't see any darks here. So that's what you can see here. The Firestorm seems to have the highest tier of combat sites, but I'm not able to find any kinds of tier 4 hacking filaments. Maybe they are, but I have not been able to find the one that I'm running now. The annihilated electrical filament is the highest tier of hacking filament, you could say. So it's a little bit inconsistent what types of weather effects there are and what tiers they are, but in short, you can think of it, you got the hacking and the combat is only the T1 cruisers you're able to use. So we're going to do here, the thing that I love about this is that you just have to be good at the hacking itself. In regular exploration in EVE, then it's a lot about finding and scanning everything, but here scanning is taken out of the equation. And I love that, because I really dislike the scanning side of exploration. You turn the volume a little bit here. It just very, very monotonous. I don't find it at all to be that satisfying. Here it's completely taken out of the equation. You just focus on the hacking, and the hacking is the stuff I like the most. Sometimes the loot is going to be pretty bad. Sometimes it's going to be pretty good. You could think of it in the same. It's the same principle in all these hacking sites. The bigger the ship, the more loot you usually get. The Zenitras, for example, it's gonna give the best loot because it's the Dreadnought, a kind of wreck, you could say. The Leshaks give a lot, the Dracovacs give a little bit less, and then you got these Tower Vaults and Small Cache, those give a lot less. So it's just, I would say, a recommendation when it comes to fit a lot of agility modules. So you can see my fit here. Can just remove everything so you can get an idea of what I've got, because I've got quite a bit of loot now on me. You see here, remove all. 11 million ISK ship, so it's still a little bit of an expensive Magnate, but it can be worse. It's not the worst that you can have. We've got inertial stabilizers and a polycarbon engine housing, and the whole thing here, you don't have to specifically have these modules. I'm just trying to make it so that I have as much align time and agility as possible, these inertia modifiers, because it makes so that when they're in the abyss, we can quickly stop and stay close to the wreck and hack, and also so that we reduce the risk of us getting flung away into the void. And that's quite important here. We don't want to lose all our valuable stuff we've acquired just because we were not so careful and just are flowing away. Now, when you're doing these hacking sites, you can see here, we've never been able to find a as beefy system core as you can find here in these abyssal sites. 120 HP. You can't usually find that difficult hacking sites. So the difficulty here is not like regular exploration, finding the stuff. It's hacking the stuff. We've got quite difficult wrecks you can find. And that's what is usually the case with these Zenitras. There's Leshaks and the smaller wrecks, not as difficult to hack, but they're still quite difficult. So what I would say is, when you're making a fit, You don't have to copy the fit I'm using now. Right? It's just something quick I put together, but it works really well. Make sure you have a fit that has a Relic Analyzer. You don't need to have any data analyzer. Relic Analyzer is enough. And put rigs and modules that boost your ability to hack well. Because... oh, hell, I was not so careful there. Because what's going to really determine how much ISK you earn is how quick you do these sites. It will do the hacking part of it. That's just all the whole thing comes down to that. So the better you're able at hacking these quickly. Oh no, I failed that. That was silly of me. The better you're able at hacking, the quicker and more ISK you'll get from these. I usually don't lose these, but when I'm explaining this to you guys, then it's a little bit more difficult to concentrate on this. But the thing is, when you're doing these, it's good to know the basic principles of hacking. If anyone's not acquainted with, when you've got a node that is surrounded by nodes, then you're basically safe. And if there is something, then that means that the system core is around them. So say if there was something bad here, I mean the system core is in one of these adjacent ones. These basic hacking principles can help you a lot. So you get 2 million. It's not so good. Sometimes you can get very good stuff. Sometimes got like 30 million from one of these. So it can vary quite a bit. Sometimes you get absolute trash. Sometimes you get really good stuff. Now, we're going to speed up a little bit here because we get 30 minutes unlike a regular Abyssal site. So that's pretty good. But it's... and the thing is, this timer, I never really have any issues at all completing within this timer. I always finish it within like 15 minutes. But it's just there. So in case you've got not so good hacking skills and you've not got the good hacking modules, like I got Tech 2 Relic Analyzer, a really good investment to have that because it makes your hacking ability a lot better because you get more HP and more damage in terms of the hacking. If you're not as good at hacking, it may take you a little bit longer to do these things, but I can often just go straight through depending on which one it is. So like that. I noticed that the system cores are usually on the opposite end of the grid that you have. So stop here. You see, you've got this tachyon cloud. It makes you go super fast. So just be careful. You do not want to go outside of the arena. Stop here. That's why I like to have good agility. And this one seems to be quite easy. Oh, where are all the... where's the system core? It's not here. It must be over there. And we can use this here. And the shield, we've got low HP. Get more stuff. Ah. That was failed. It's a very difficult grid here. Shield 5, so that means it's not so close there. There it is. So since I've got a Tech 2 Relic Analyzer and I've also got rigs that improve my relic hacking capabilities, I do 35 damage. And it makes me a lot more likely to complete one of these quickly and also successfully. Because, I mean, even if you've got like low tier ships, like a Tech 1 ship, and very bad modules, yeah, you can complete many hacking sites. But sometimes you just happen to, it's a bit of chance, you know. You just happen to go on one of these antivirus things and then suddenly you fail the whole hack. It's a lot of chance as well. So you increase the chance of you getting these done successfully by just buffing your hacking strength. So there is some skill to this, but it's not completely. There's also just an element of RNG or luck to this. Okay, so now we hacked everything. Now we go out. Now I can imagine that this happens. I've never encountered this myself. I've not heard anyone this happen to anyone else, but I can imagine that this will happen. Is people are going to get popped on the gate here. Because there's a lot of people who like to destroy Abyssal runners, and especially when we're in small ships like the Magnate, which can easily get destroyed by a basic destroyer. So what I've done is to have a little bit of countermeasures is to have an improved cloaking device, because then we've got an MWD, we can quickly cloak an MWD, then we can get a little bit of distance from the gate and hopefully not get destroyed. Even better alternative would be to use a covert ops ship, because then you can just cloak directly and warp off. That would be even better. So I'm just going to be a little bit careful here, jump through this gate and see what's on the other side. You have to have your security set to suspect here when you are done with this. Okay, so there's nothing here, so that's good. So I don't have to do anything. So we are going to go to Jita, And I'll share this fit in the comments, or not the comments, the description down below. You can use it. It works really well. An upgrade to this would be to use a covert ops ship, but I'm saving money now. You know, I've given away most of my stuff in EVE, so I'm trying to save a bit of money here. But it works really well, this Magnate. I'm very happy with it. The idea is just as much agility as possible, then adding a bit of tank in the odd case I were to get ganked, then I maybe have some HP, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to help that much. 4k HP is still very, very little. Thrash would be able to destroy me. Okay, so these are the two filaments I like to run. So the first one is Annihilated Electrical Filament, which is the one I just did. The second one is the Vicious Electrical Filament. This is a T2 variant of the combat site. All the combat sites are the same in terms of the layout. It's just a single site or single pocket, and there's a battleship, and then there's a few aiding frigates. They are then just extra DPS, and they do quite a lot of DPS, to be honest, for being frigates, but they also have very low HP, so you can destroy them very quickly. But they're all the same in different degrees of difficulty. So we will then use the Vicious ones, because the Vicious ones are T2s. They're electricals, so they make it quite easy to get a good active tank. You need quite a bit of tank to do these. And then, oh, got quite a lot of loot here. You can just see how much we'll get from that site here. You get, see, now highlight all these. A lot of these entangles give quite a bit. It's 93 million, but it's going to give a lot less because of the estimated values are a little bit skewed here, just due to this being an event. Sell everything here. Yeah, so this is actually very little ISK from the event, because one of the filaments in themselves costs about 50 million, but you can sometimes get a lot more. This ruined electrical also is worth something, but hardly anything. So we've got a second Annihilated here. But back to the Vicious ones. The thing I like about the Vicious electrical filaments is that they are electrical. They give it an easy way to tank a lot. And then the T2s, so they give more ISK than the T1s, but they're also pretty easy to, and chill to run. So I like to do them. See here, I got already a Vicious one here. So this Omen fit is not particularly expensive. It costs 40 million ISK. You can see if you just remove the filament, then I guess about 40 million ISK, so it's nothing crazy. Go to Movable Island. You have to be very wary of the frigates in this site, because they can do a lot of damage. The battleship is very easy to avoid because you just orbit them at 500, so you don't have any issues there. But the thing is, the idea is just we go in, orbit the battleship, destroy them with our pulse lasers, keep them webbed so that they just don't cruise away too much, and also the web is there to be able to alleviate us to destroy the frigates there. Now I've gone with a decent amount of tank, Multispectrum, Reactive Armor Hardener, 2 armor repairs, because there are missile towers here that do quite a bit of damage, so it's good to be able to tank a lot as well. You can destroy these missile towers, but it's very difficult because they're really far away. So you will see when we get into the site how it is. Also very good to have the drones. These help a lot because the aiding frigates that I'm talking about, that they do quite a bit of damage, they are very low HP. So your drones actually, since they apply so well in the Omen, they can take them out pretty quickly. But you also have to just be a little bit careful that they don't get destroyed as well. I really appreciate CCP for adding these sites. I feel like they almost have listened to me, because I've made a lot of suggestions for having Abyssal sites as events, and maybe having the switching up the style of the filaments a little bit. And we've got like the hacking stuff suddenly, it's a completely new thing, and then we've also got a slightly different alteration of the combat sites. It's also pretty simplified. I like it. And it's really good for people who want to have like new players who want to have a good low cost investment for the amount of money you get from this. Okay, so this is how it is. You just jump in and you see a battleship. See here, I've got this. In this case, we get Leshak. Sometimes you can get Charybdis Tyrannos. Sometimes you can get, I think actually it's only Leshak and Charybdis Tyrannos, but I believe I have seen a different one sometimes. But these frigates, you need to be careful because they do a lot of damage. So to be honest, it's better actually to destroy them first rather than focus on the battleship. because the battleship is not going to be able to do much to you. You can just orbit him. I do 2,500 just to optimize our damage, because I noticed that with my Omen in particular, I've got really good skills. And even then, when I orbit at 500, I sometimes get grazing shots and don't do 100% damage to him because the transversal is too bad. So that's why I orbit 2,500 instead of 500. And I still avoid all those damage. So this is where you want to be. You want to destroy all the frigates here. So you just got the battleship, you orbit it. And this is just my way of running this. There's many other ways to run this as well, but it's just my way of running this that I find it seems to work really well. Orbit him, 2,500. You don't have any problems at all. You can have your drones to aid you a bit. Very good to do that. And then, there's two ways of getting loot here. One is that he is going to drop a wreck. And then there's also this cache here that you can grab and go. So you get that, and it has some nice stuff in it. So now you get respawns of these frigates. They respawn from time to time. And what I like to do with the Omen is that if it's taking damage, the drones are taking damage, then I just recall them straight away, because there's no point of just suiciding your drones. But I just recall them and then wait until they've aggressed me, and then I take them out again. And I have my drones engage them. Then it usually works out pretty well. But these frigates, they have got pretty good amount of teeth in them. They can newt, they can do a decent amount of damage. So we just do this. We orbit this guy. It's pretty easy. You see? And these wear posts, these make us required to have a big amount of tank. Alternatively, if you were to have something like with a heavy missile fit, or maybe a Vexor with really long range drones, you could have your drones take them out, but then you're also going to have to tank a little bit initially as well. So I find it to be pretty difficult to try to go for both of them and everything at the same time. So I find what seems to work out pretty good in the end is just to be able to just brute force tank those turrets, avoid the battleship damage, and take out the frigates. And this is the same principle for the T1s and T2s. I've never done the T3s. I think it is similar for the T3s as well, and T4s. But it seems to be the same principle here. You just go in and then you find the battleship. Oh, we need to be careful now. Orbit maybe at 500 because we were taking a lot of damage. You need to be and keep a good eye on your HP here, because you can sometimes take a big amount of damage. Oh, we've never taken this much damage before. Ooh. What's going on? Just overheat a little bit. Ooh, whoa. What's going on? Oh no! Oh no. Sorry guys. I don't know what happened there. I've run tons of these. I never had an issue, and then suddenly when I'm running it here with you guys, when we get destroyed straight away. I don't know what happened there. Because we were tanking it fine, and suddenly something happened. Did I deactivate or something? I mean, you saw there that we were tanking it really well. Was it the Leshak or something? Oh, that's unfortunate. But I mean, I've learned so much from doing this, so this loss to me doesn't mean anything. I've been doing so much of these, but it's a bit unfortunate that when I show you guys this, then it doesn't work out too well. I'm just curious, what was it that caused us to take so much damage? It seems like these wear posts were doing the most amount of damage. Yeah, it was. The Leshak did not do any damage. Yeah, well, that's the sites here. My favorite site to do is that hacking site, because it's pretty chill. You just go and hack a ton. But I also like to do these combat sites, because the vicious filaments, they're not too expensive, 7 million ISK, and you can usually get 20, sometimes 30 million ISK from them. So I think it's pretty good return of investment you get there. Not when the case when you die, unfortunately. But I've done so many of these, and I've not had any problem. I've probably done 10 or 15 of them. Never had any issues with the Leshak one as well. There's Leshak and Charybdis Tyrannus. It's the same thing. Not sure what happened there. Could perhaps be that I was webbed so hard by that Leshak that those wear posts are doing more damage. Or, not really sure, actually. I'm going to have to do more experimenting here. But that's the principle. That's how this event works. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll link the fits down below, even that Omen fit that didn't work out too well, but it has worked. It has worked pretty well. But you'll find your own ways to do this. If you want to do a little bit of like a chill variant, then just do the electrical T1s. They're a lot easier. It's the same thing. You can do this ruined electrical filament. You're going to do the same thing as I did here in this vicious one, but you do the easier variant as well. So it's going to be quite a bit easier. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. That's the Capsuleer Day 2024 event. Really nice event. One of my favorite events I've had in many, many years, in fact. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.